all set up here for episode 7.
Lucky number 7.
Number 7, yes. We made it through 7 episodes now. Today we are going to be talking about the NFC East or NFC Beast first.
Mike Vick era. Number 7, NFC Beast.
Yeah, true. Real Eagles. But we're going to be going over our predictions for their standings and, just overall how they had drafted in their offseason. Then we're going to move into our now second part of the ranking, the skill positions. We had quarterback last episode. We're going to now move to running back. And then we're going to take a look at the MLB. We haven't looked at the MLB standings in about a week or two. So we're going to see just how things are going on there because we're about, I think it's a few
pretty
weeks
much
or a week or two.
The season.
We're about halfway, about to hit All-Star break.
Yeah. So,
and then we got some mid-season awards. We're going to be talking about who we have winning the awards if the season ended today. And then we're going to wrap it up with me giving Max a quiz.
And as we've done with each division preview, start with our fourth place team.
Yes.
So 3, 2, 1. Washington Commanders.
Football team.
Washington Commanders. Whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I mean, they're just not a good team.
No.
They could sneaky win some games with their defense and some of the weapons they have, but there's this position in the NFL called quarterback, and they don't really have a guy who plays it all that well on that roster.
They have, right now, Sam Howell listed as their day one starter.
Although Sam Howell won his last game of the year when he played.
But they have Jacoby, the go-to backup. Now.
Yes.
They have Jacoby Brissett, who could be their starter now. So I like Jacoby to start there. I don't personally like Sam Howell, but
I could see Jacoby starting the first couple games of the year for sure. He is you look up bridge guy in definition, and there's a picture of Jacoby Brissett.
We talked about these kind of guys last episode. I think we are primed up for a bridge backup quarterback, get you a game draft of who can be that guy that's the backup quarterback to win your game. Mike White.
We might have to do the draft of QBs that aren't the guy, but if you need him for a game, they'll be your guy.
And we could do relative of the last 5 to 10 years because you could throw Teddy Bridgewater in there when he was at the Saints.
1-1 Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
1-1's got to be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The possibilities for that are infinite. But
That's a great topic
yes.
we just came up with.
But now looking at the Commanders, yes, there's not.
Listen, Terry McLaurin's got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, the one thing I did like a lot, they brought back Deron Payne on a pretty team-friendly deal, actually.
Yes,
and he's a solid defensive tackle. It doesn't get much better than him at the position. But there's really not much to say past what we've already talked about. They don't have a QB who's competent enough to let them win, arguably. I wouldn't even say arguably what is the best division in the NFC. I mean, it's a weak conference, but this division has likely 3 playoff teams coming out of it.
So
in my
competitive.
opinion.
So competitive.
The Giants improved last year. Daniel Jones under Brian Dable proved himself to be really good. And we're not even going to compare the Commanders to the Eagles or the Cowboys.
Yeah, but weirdly enough, third-string left guard for the Commanders is the point guard himself, Chris Paul, which is listed on their roster.
Gotta love the double names.
Yeah, Chris Paul out of Tulsa.
Oh boy.
That
reminds me of, you remember the old ESPN commercial, the Michael Jordan commerson, where it's just like some white dad with glasses.
He was all upset. He's like, Michael Jordan?
It's the airport guy who has the name sign, and he's like, that's me. And he's like, let's go. Let's just go.
He's so ashamed of that. He's ashamed of that.
But,
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's a fun little piece of trivia.
Maybe Chase Young will be.
Chase Young's got to stay healthy, man.
I mean, their front seven, it doesn't look terrible.
No, they've had a good defense for the past couple of years, but I know people say defense wins you championships. It wins you championships when you have a QB who you can rely on to at least manage the game.
Yeah. I mean, there's just not much to cover this team. They're going to be in the last place. Okay.
The Giants, are they one-hit wonders, or do they run it back this year and sneak in another playoff berth?
I am pretty higher up on the Giants. From a roster perspective, they obviously added Darren Waller. They re-signed a lot of their key pieces. They didn't really have that much, players lost. From a standpoint of losing people. So
Dexter Lawrence just got his extension too. He solidifies a front seven that was actually pretty good last year. I mean, I think they definitely could make a back-to-back playoff appearance. Mm-hmm. Strictly considering how underwhelming the NFC is as a conference as a whole. If they end up losing 3 or 4 games in their division, they might be pushing their luck to get in the playoffs. But they really don't, looking at their schedule especially, you would expect a playoff team to have a much harder schedule, but with a third-place finish, it's really not all that difficult, and I think they'll go back to the playoffs this year in 2023.
I will say the only thing that does concern me is the wide receiver room. Obviously, that was a question mark last year. It seemed to work out pretty well for them this year. Adding Waller is obviously great.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't draft a receiver this year.
Well, they did. They got, I believe it was Jalen Hyatt, who was
they did. I meant with their first pick.
Yeah, he was a third round pick, but he was very, a controversial pick.
I'm not super high on Hyatt.
Yeah.
He kind of just feels like a burner go guy. That's not the best route runner. But I think Daniel Jones is in a place now where he has expectations. And let's be honest, the guy hasn't had very many expectations to start his career.
No, he has not.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that. On top of that, Saquon has yet to sign his franchise tag. But the problem with that is I don't know how that restricts them financially, paying a running back that much for that long term. But we'll just have to wait and see with them. I think Brian Dable proved himself as probably the best young coach in the NFL last year. Mm-hmm. Reigning coach of the year. He was awesome for them.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't doubt that they're a playoff team with how bad their conference is.
Their defense is a juggernaut.
Their
defense.
They have a very good defense.
And I think one thing you got to respect too, specifically about the Giants and this division, it went from a few years ago from someone's got to win this division and come to the playoffs to now.
For sure. No,
you got
absolutely.
3 teams who are stacked.
That's the biggest hang-up with the Giants, right? Is yes, they're going to win games on the back of good play calling, Daniel Jones making the right decision, establishing the run, great defense. But I think as good as Daniel Jones was for them last year, it's pretty difficult for him to elevate his play to the point where they're going to beat the Eagles or beat the 49ers or give the Cowboys a run for their money to make a playoff push.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on paper, they might be like the 5th or 6th best team in the entire conference, but the problem is the gap between the guys at the top and them is pretty big, let's just be honest.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. So, yeah. Okay, so now moving into our next team I want to talk about. Let's go into the Cowboys.
You want me to start it off?
Yeah,
here?
Cowboys going to Cowboy, but
I liked their offseason,
I really
man.
I really like the Cowboys.
They lost Dalton Schultz, but, I mean, let's be honest. Paying Dalton Schultz an average tight end as much money as the Texans gave him was never doing them any favors.
Injury-prone tight end as
well.
For
sure.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is a reliable second option behind CeeDee Lamb.
Really like that pick.
Stephon Gilmore, obviously, you bring in this year, too. I think he could be really good for them. He still is a solid corner. And I like with their defensive scheme how he fits with Trey Diggs. Obviously, Cooper Rush, another guy who might make the backup. They brought him back too. But the Cowboys, they're going to make the playoffs this year. Whatever way you slice it, they're going to make the playoffs. They might lose before they get to the NFC Championship like they usually do, but they're a playoff team. And it kind of just depends on how far Dak's going to take them.
I'm calling a Brandon Cooks Thanksgiving Day touchdown right now.
Right now?
That feels like
a good pick.
On the day of June 29th, I'm calling a Thanksgiving Day touchdown, so hopefully that will come into fruition. This team's great. I don't know what they're even going to do with Zeke. I don't know if they're going to let him walk. Well, yeah, I mean, he's a free agent right now, but
I could see him coming back on like a vet minimum, to be totally honest.
I mean, it's Tony Pollard's backfield now. I think it's,
and we'll get to Tony Pollard here in a little bit in our next segment.
But he is no doubt about it the real deal. I think finally it's good. He's going to get his time as the number one. When Zeke was hurt, he absolutely feasted. They still got a good line. I think, of course, obviously you need some health out of Dak as well. I know last year Dak stayed pretty healthy, I would say, for last year.
Yeah, he was just hurt at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
He was healthy for the remainder.
But no season-ending injuries. Obviously, Dak came into question as he does every single year because the spotlight's always on the Cowboys. But I always think I look at Dak as a middle of the road quarterback who can win or lose you some games here and there. But I personally have the Cowboys winning this division. Now that might be an extremely hot take. I have the Cowboys winning this division. I think now moving into our next team, the Eagles. I think it's going to be a different type of year for them this year. I think they're going to have a lot that they didn't have last year. They didn't have the beauty of having such an easy of a schedule. They obviously earned it. They were stacked, of course, last year. They had a good amount of departures. They also added and retained a good amount of guys as well, too. But, yeah.
Here's my thing with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
They might have the best front office in all of football.
I forgot that they added DeAndre Swift. Okay, well, he's got to stay healthy.
I'm not super high on DeAndre Smith. I feel like he lacks vision and ability to find rushing lanes. But that's beside the point. Javon Hargrave's a big loss, right? But you arguably get the best player, talent-wise, in Jalen Carter in the middle of the first round.
So many people passed on him, too.
So many people passed on him. They might end up regretting it. Jordan Davis, he's going to be great. Fletcher Cox, back for another season. Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, James Bradbury, Darius Slay end up staying with the team after everybody thought they were gone.
Yep.
Obviously, the Hargrave, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kazir White, Marcus Epps, those type of losses aren't great. It doesn't look good in that capacity. The secondary takes a bit of a hit, especially in regards to the safeties.
A big hit.
But this O-line is still elite.
The offense is there still.
This D-line is still elite.
It's the
secondary. The quarterback
secondary.
is still elite.
It's the secondary. They have
the corners are still elite.
They have Greedy Williams.
The receivers are still elite.
They have Greedy Williams listed as their second corner.
Greedy had an underrated season last year, I think. I don't think Greedy...
He's listed as their second cornerback right now behind Slay.
No,
that's a huge drop-off.
It's Slay, Bradbury, then Greedy. You forgot about Bradbury.
Left cornerback, yes. So
Avonte Maddox isn't that bad. Nolan Smith, I liked that draft. I liked that draft pick too.
Who knows? Maybe they got something cooking in the kitchen with Greedy that we didn't.
I don't know, man. I trust their front office, their coaching staff. I trust everybody on this team way more than I do the Cowboys to be just a real contender.
I think they split. I think the Eagles and the Cowboys split this season.
I think they definitely could split, but I like the Eagles to take care of business against the Giants and Commanders 4 out of 4 times more so than I do the Cowboys. And I know their schedule is definitely harder than the Cowboys. They've got the Chiefs, they've got the Niners, they've got the Jets. They've got a lot of good teams that they have to play this year. Don't get me wrong. But I have too much trust placed in the Eagles, man. They're the same team. They just reload, get younger, those guys develop, and I'm telling you they're going to be great.
Yeah. Whole new backfield now for them, too.
Yeah, most replaceable position.
Most replaceable position. Yeah, not saying that it matters, but
I think
new backfield.
I think the difference between Kenny Gainwell and DeAndre Swift and who did they have?
Boston Scott?
No.
Rashad Penny? Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, who they lost this year, is more minimal than people might think it is. I mean, the big question mark I'm looking at here is Gardner Minshew to the Colts. I mean, I don't know how they're going to be able to recover from that one.
Well, they got Mariota now, but
and then obviously Olamide Zaccheaus, he's going to be a game changer.
Wide receiver 4 now.
Yes. But,
I'm sniffing, and one of the Eagles-Giants matchups, I'm sniffing a 21-13 type game. I don't know. I love this division.
So?
This division.
They embarrassed them in the playoffs last year.
They did.
Though.
They did. That was really, really bad. I remember watching that. That was really bad.
I don't know.
I was on the Giants at that time too. I liked the story with the Giants.
I think everybody did. It was a feel good story, but most of the time, feel good stories come to die when they come up against a juggernaut like the Eagles.
I realized the Eagles were legit, and I know it was really early on in the season, but that Sunday night or Monday night game against the Vikings where they
murdered
absolutely obliterated them. That was ridiculous. So
yeah. I don't. You're rolling with the Cowboys. I'm rolling with the Eagles. We might have to. Let's make a little setup gentleman's bet right now for some stakes for the podcast.
Okay.
What are we thinking
what would
here?
This be?
What are we thinking here?
Okay. We could do.
No money involved.
No, obviously no money involved.
A little DH gate jersey bet.
Sure, we can do. We could
Eagles win the division. I get a Hurts jersey.
or
Cowboys win the division. You get the Cowboys player of your choice, their jersey.
so say the Eagles win it. Okay, yeah, we could just do player. We could just do player of the choice. Or I was gonna say we could somehow mix it up to where it was like I have to buy myself like a.
Nah.
Okay.
Who's your player of choice though?
So if I were to have to get an Eagles jersey,
I think I'd go with Hurts. For me.
yeah, or I would go AJ Brown. Yeah,
Or maybe AJ Brown.
I think an AJ Brown jersey would be pretty nice.
Yeah, but you gotta pick a Cowboys jersey.
Okay, so yeah, that would be
CeeDee Lamb. Ooh, Micah Parsons.
Thinking about it now, I think I already have a CeeDee Lamb jersey.
It might have to be Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
We completely brush over him.
Yeah. We did
We
kind of brush over
completely brush
Yeah, we're idiots here on the Setup Podcast.
He's very, very good. Very good. We just simply forgot about him. But yeah,
so I go Hurts, you go Parsons. Division winner buys a little $15 DH gator for
that
the
is
person.
that is a handshake
The
right
handshake's been made.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I think that wraps us up with the NFC Beast. But now, moving on to our next topic and our next category of skill position in the draft rankings. We're going to go into running back now. So just like last time, we'll just do 10-10, 9-9, 8-8, 7-7. So
Cool. I love it.
you can start us off first. Or actually, I'll go first. Or you can start us off first with number 10. Who do you have for running
Number
back?
10, I'm going with Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
And I think he might be higher after this year, where they might end up running the ball more without Rodgers.
I'm really. We said this last episode, but I'm really excited to cover that division because that's going to be a lot. Jordan Love, everything
Justin
too.
Fields.
Yeah. But okay, so then now, my number 10. This is a guy Max is very high on. I went with Kenneth Walker III for this year.
I wanted to sneak him in there, but I couldn't do it.
So I'm putting Kenneth Walker. This is my projection for this year. I think Kenneth Walker has, again, another stellar season. Obviously, he had a great year, great rookie out of Michigan State last year. But I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker III as my number 10.
I like it. I like it a lot. On number 9, we talked about him earlier. It was his show last year. Everybody knew it. Tony Pollard.
Yes.
He changes that offense for sure. There's not
Yes,
a lot
he
of
does.
running backs who can truly contribute to an offense in a way where the other team has to scheme against it. But I thought Tony Pollard was sensational for them last year. I like him to be even better this year if he's not splitting carries with Zeke. So he's going to end up at number 9 on my list.
Okay, so then my number 9 is your number 10. Aaron Jones is my number 9. Yeah, I just think he's going to have much bigger of a role this year.
Tell
than
me
he is,
something
bro.
right now. Dalvin Cook better not be on that list.
He's not. He's not.
Okay.
He's not.
Back to 8 here for me.
Yes.
Listen, I know he only played 7 games. I
Yes.
know it's a small sample size, and I know you're a Jets hater, but Brees Hall last year, in the 7 games he played, yards per touch led the NFL. Not just rookies, he led the entire NFL. That's better than guys like Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, CMC, those type of guys.
Yep.
Led the NFL in elusiveness rating. He was not breaking more tackles, but making players miss on tackles more than anybody else in the NFL. He led the NFL in breakaway run rate, which means he's making the most big plays out of any running back in the NFL. Brees Hall is elite.
He had a
He's
lot of
elite.
he had a lot of house it runs. Yes, I remember that.
Absolutely.
I was sad when he went down though because
Do you have him in fantasy?
Yeah, he was a very very good talent for them.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. Going into my number 8. This might be a really really dumb pick, but like I said, projection.
Don't say Austin Eckler.
No, he's not in it. Projection for next year.
Oh, I know who you're saying.
I'm going Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, don't know who you're saying.
Yes.
But I don't hate that pick at all.
I'm going Ramondre. I think now Damian Harris is gone.
Yeah.
It's Ramondre's backfield. I think he is built like a LeGarrette Blount, probably a little shiftier, probably can run a little faster. Absolute tank for yardage. I think he's going to have a huge year for them. And I always know that the running scheme always plays huge in the Patriots offense. So
You
I'm
know,
going to go
looking
Ramondre.
back, I might have gone Ramondre over Aaron Jones. To
In
be
10,
totally
yeah.
honest.
So
I kind of glanced over.
I like Ramondre
I love
a lot.
that pick.
I like
I
Ramondre
love
a
that
lot.
pick. So you talked about projection. I'm going to project even further.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. This guy's already a top 7 back in the NFL. Number 7, Bijan Robinson.
Oh, okay.
He's
okay,
absolutely
okay.
electric.
Okay.
I don't think we've seen a running back prospect like Bijan since Saquon Barkley came out in, I think, 2018. And he won the Rookie of the Year, and that year, hands down, it wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bijan Robinson gives them arguably, I mean, he's their best rushing threat the day he got drafted. And he might be their best pass-catching threat.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts isn't what he was advertised to be.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Ridley's gone. And you don't really have other weapons around there. I mean, Drake London obviously had a good season. But I think Bijan's going to change that offense a lot.
He'll be getting his touches, no doubt about it.
And in an offense where either Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke's throwing the football, feed Bijan the rock. Rookie of the Year, I'm calling it now.
So I put this guy a little higher up for my number 7, but we already mentioned him, Tony Pollard.
I don't hate it.
I just think he's going to have a stellar year. I really do. I think he'll be one that will get drafted early in fantasy football boards. And, we will definitely in the setup have a huge fantasy mock draft / fantasy football board.
Definitely.
But I'm all about Tony Pollard this year, so he's my number 7.
I love it. We might have to do a little 2-man league in the setup.
Just to see.
Yeah. Have like 4
Stacked
wide
leagues.
receivers,
Yes.
4 running backs, that type of deal.
Yeah, for sure.
But so my number, what are we on, 6 here?
6.
Number 6 here, stay healthy, and you'd probably be higher. Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm. He's my 6 too.
Yeah,
he's my 6.
I mean, their O-line wasn't as good last year as years past, but we saw what Jonathan Taylor can do when he's healthy. He looked like the best running back in the league 2 seasons ago, and if he stays healthy, he just might be that again.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. He was the number 1 touted pick for fantasy. I mean, I know this is obviously not a fantasy ranking, but yeah, no, he's a very good talent.
For sure. And then moving on to number 5 here. This is more of a let me see it for another couple years type of pick. Josh Jacobs. NFL rushing leader last year. He was great for them throughout the entire season. But I just want to see him do it for more than one season.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
He wasn't... Last year was kind of a, I don't want to say a flash in the pan year, but it was an anomaly for him. He wasn't a huge yards per rush guy previously. Mm-hmm. He wasn't rushing or getting touchdowns at a high volume.
Yeah.
So I got to put him here just because he was awesome last year. But I just want to see him do it for another couple of seasons.
Yeah, no, agreed. So then me going with my number 5, I think he definitely deserves to be in the top 5. Saquon Barkley.
I like it.
He's unreal. I know there's some disputes with contract and whatnot going on right now. He will eventually go back to the Giants. I know that. I think he just wants to skip out on training camp. No one likes going to training camp. No one likes going to the OTAs. I think he'll be ready, especially with injuries and how it's been too. I think it's probably smart enough for him. Maybe the Giants are telling him to, hold off on signing that contract until after training camp. But I just know when the ball snapped, he'll be ready to go. So I'm going with Saquon.
No, absolutely. I'm literally right there with you. Mm-hmm. I got Saquon at 4.
Okay.
I thought it was just fun to see Saquon finally be healthy for a full season last year.
Yes, agreed.
I mean, it was just so many years it just felt like he couldn't get on the field.
Yeah.
And I know one of my takes, I've said this for a long time, I think running back is probably the most replaceable position in the NFL, but there's an argument to be had for Saquon being the most important player on that team simply because he doesn't play really a full season for the last couple of years. Since his rookie year, he hasn't played a full year.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that's incredible.
He comes back for a full year for the Giants, and they're a playoff team. I mean, it just says a lot about his impact for their team and what he's able to do both in the running game and the passing game.
And, I mean, it's incredible, too. He had literally identically like the same rushing year this past year as he did his rookie year. Played the full entire season, which was just great to see. Obviously, his receiving numbers took a little bit of a hit, but if that's the case for him to stay healthy, you take that
absolutely
10
you take
times
that 10
out of 10.
times out of 10.
So then but then my number 4 was Jacobs. So we already covered Jacobs. So
moving on to number 3. he's the best all-around passing, rushing player in the NFL. I should say receiving, not passing.
I got the same.
Christian McCaffrey.
Got the same.
I mean, when he played for the Niners last year, I feel like obviously they're a great team to begin with, but they were a much better team when he was on the field.
Oh, no doubt.
And with Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, whoever else throwing the ball for them next year, obviously a lot of those guys are great downfield passers. Having an option like Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield makes it so much easier for Purdy, and it makes it 10 times easier.
That offense too. Oh my god!
Kyle Shanahan's a genius. Christian McCaffrey is who Kyle Shanahan has been waiting for to play in that offense. It's been years of Raheem Mostert, what was his name? Matt Breida, a bunch of different
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, plug and play guys who could succeed because, quite frankly, Kyle Shanahan has maybe the greatest run scheme in all of football. Mm-hmm. But Christian McCaffrey in a full season in a 49ers uniform, I'm sold. I want to see it. He's great. Number 3 on my list.
None of the previous running backs that the Niners had compared to his skill set.
They don't hold a candle to him. Yeah.
It's absurd. So I'm going to go number 2. We may have the same one here.
Okay.
Derrick Henry.
Top 3's the same. I got Derrick Henry too.
What seemed to be a down year for him last year, I believe he was still, I think he had his second best career in yards per carry, for whatever it may be. But Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry. I don't know if he'll slow down. I thought personally he was going to start to slow down. And on a Titans offense that has nothing, they're going to be sending blitzes at all times. But I think we'll still see Derrick Henry.
No, listen, I'm not here to take a crap on anybody on this list. But the reason Derrick Henry's 1 and not 2 for me is because A, he doesn't stay healthy, and B, I think the conversation around him benefits a lot from the fact that the Titans have never really been a passing team. Mm-hmm. He gets more attempts. Not that should be a negative on his resume, but he doesn't stay healthy as consistently as the guy who I have number 1 here. Mm-hmm. And just the workload that he's put through isn't like it's equivalent when you look at the counting stats to some of the other guys, but when you give it context and the amount of carries he receives throughout the year, the guy who's number 1, I think, fully deserves to be there ahead of Derrick Henry.
No, he definitely does.
Maybe a little homer pick for me and Ethan, but quite frankly, I think this guy is the best running back in the NFL. And if you disagree, sound off in the comments. I don't care. He is that guy, Nick Chubb.
Oh, my God.
Best pure runner of the football, best patience in the NFL, gets the most yards per pop. I mean, he'll run through you, he'll juke you, he'll hurdle you, he'll stiff arm you. Nick Chubb is elite.
I mean, he had more rushing yards than Derrick Henry with 90 less carries. Just an absolute workhorse for that Browns offense. I just wish they would feed him even more because and we would sometimes not even give him more than 20 carries a game, and we would end up losing. And when we did give him 20 carries,
I'm not going to make any predictions because half the time in the business making predictions I come up short, but no more Kareem Hunt. Not super great receivers on the Browns this year outside of Amari Cooper. I could see a Nick Chubb Offensive Player of the Year campaign.
Oh my! I would love to see it. I just think he's just such what you want in a player too. He's not into the media. He's not trying to be the glitz, glam, and glory. There was many times where he would, had the opportunity of the touchdown late game, and he would take that little dive at the 1 yard line.
The reason Nick Chubb's better than your favorite running back is because he outworks your favorite running back. And
he does.
He's the best running back in the NFL.
He was just squatting like 500, 600 pounds about 2 days ago.
He's insane.
Just his motor is unreal. It's unreal. So
for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that one. So wrapping up our running backs rankings right there. We're gonna move over to some.
You got any honorable mentions before we finish up?
Oh.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs could have a good year this year.
Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah. You don't know who Jahmyr Gibbs is?
No, who's Jahmyr Gibbs?
He's the Lions' first-round pick.
You
don't know who Jahmyr Gibbs is.
Yes, but no, Monty's going to be their number 1.
No, Jahmyr Gibbs for sure.
Really?
You don't draft a running back in the top 10 to not be their number one.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe throw Delvin Cook in that honorable mention.
Where was your hot take you were going to fire off?
The hot take was the Cowboys winning the division, but
Cowboys.
that didn't end up being too hot.
I see. No, I don't hate it. But we do have the jersey bet in place.
We do have the jersey bet in place.
So come January, somebody will be cashing in on a jersey.
Yes. So now finishing that up, we're now going to be moving into our around the horn of the MLB. Just about halfway through. A lot of things happening within the last couple of weeks. The Reds went on an absolute heater. They are now in the sole possession of first place in the NL Central. We had a game in London. We had Domingo Germán throwing a perfect game, which was ridiculous in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first time that's happened in a decade. It was just great to see. Kind of thought there was going to be a little bit more hype about it because, it's a perfect game. But
well, it's baseball.
It's baseball, so what are you gonna, what exactly are you going to do? The thing I wanted to look at first and dive deeper into is the NL West. Not even in first or second place, the Dodgers. The San Francisco Giants are quietly 10 games above 500, and they are in second place in the NL West, which seems to me like they've been such an average, hard-cold team, have strung together what has been an incredible season so far with completely absolute balanced hitting just from various guys like J.D. Davis, Michael Conforto, obviously Mitch Haniger. The RBIs, the hits, everything has been spread. Thiago Estrada, it's been and Jock Peterson. It's been a group effort. It's been such a good balanced team. And their pitching hasn't even been that strong. Like, Logan Webb's obviously good. They don't have a guy that's under 3 ERA, but they're just hitting the crap out of the baseball. And
for sure,
they're probably on the older end of a team, but just kind of crazy.
And one of the things with the Giants being this good, it almost makes the Padres look even worse, man.
Really bad.
It makes them look
really bad.
I mean, they're sitting 7 games below 500 right now, and it's kind of hard to imagine them even being like the third best team in this division, well, let alone being a playoff team at this point. You know what I mean?
100%. It's just it's crazy to see a team specifically taking the Dodgers spot about halfway through, but obviously there's a lot of baseball left, so we may see. The Phillies, after a slow start, are creeping their way into a wild card spot, obviously halfway through. And we have the game on right now, and they're beating the Cubs 3-1. But the Phillies have been quietly very good. Trey Turner's starting to play better as of late. Their pitching's finally starting to come all together as of late. Bryce Harper's still DHing every game. They probably could have the potential to do what they did last year, just sneak into a wild card spot, and then boom, all of a sudden, you see them in the World Series. It's unreal, but. How bad have the Mets been?
Dude, I think we might just let Frank the Tank cover the Mets, man. The Mets have been terrible.
They are such a bad team. They're sitting 17 games outside of first place. Obviously, the no one's touching the Braves.
Yeah.
No one will touch the Braves this year. The Braves are just an absolute tank.
As of yesterday, they're now tied with the Rays for the same winning percentage in the MLB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 53-27. They're 9-1 in their last 10. I believe they were 12 for their last 13. Just unreal. I thought them losing Dansby Swanson was going to hurt a little bit. No, you bring in a guy with Orlando Arcia who is, I would say, average to not great with the Brewers. And then comes over to the Braves. They develop him well, and what do you know? He's starting in the All-Star game now. So
yeah, I mean, their ability to just find consistent play all across the board is kind of ridiculous. I mean, and the worst part about it, if your favorite team's playing in the NL East, is all of those guys are locked up for at least the next 6 years, if not longer. It's just kind of a brutal shake. I mean, I saw a graphic the other day. I think the combination of Scherzer and Verlander is making more than Spencer Strider, Michael Harris. Who did you just mention?
Orlando Arcia.
Arcia, Sean Murphy.
Oh my god.
Who else was on that list? Has Acuna's deal kicked in yet?
Yeah.
Maybe not Acuna, but it was like 8 like contributors
Oh my god.
to this great Braves team. Starters are all making less combined than Verlander and Scherzer. The Mets are imploding, and they don't really have a failsafe because they're paying their players way too much money to not be competing right now.
The Braves are almost too good. Like, you thought, like, Max Fried's obviously been hurt too. He was supposed to be their number 2 guy. Gets hurt pitching opening day. Then you have Bryce Elder, who comes out of nowhere, who's pitching more effectively than Spencer Strider as of right now. And it's just like this. It's ridiculous. They had a guy who hadn't pitched in 2 years come out and pitch against the Twins, who was in first place of another division, and he I forget his name, but he comes out and he literally threw like 8 scoreless just after 2 years of not playing. It's
crazy.
You put on a Braves jersey and you're a Superman. It's unreal. They're going to be this good forever.
Well, one of the other interesting things, we talked about this previously, but it may have gotten worse at this point. It's going to be a frustrating day for some probably Texas, Houston, LA, Baltimore, Yankee, Toronto fans when a few of those teams don't make the playoffs and you've got a below or 2 games above 500 Twins or Cleveland team playing in the wild card when your team's 10 games above 500 and didn't make it.
I told Max about this stat yesterday, but there was a stat that the last time a team was in first place underneath 500, about to go into the All-Star break, was 2008 Diamondbacks, who ended up being 82-80, if I remember. And just, oh my God, it's such a stinker of a division. And I mean,
it's bad. And honestly, the NL Central isn't much better. I know the Reds have been playing well lately. Milwaukee's doing all right, but like, the 2 Centrals are pretty much bringing up the rear, and it's not looking too good. Pirates
took a dive there, but moving on to another AL team, the Angels are playing well, really good baseball this year. They beat the Rockies the other day. Was it
24-1?
24-1, which is like what?
Yeah,
which is like what? It was a stat inflation game. I think they went back to back with home runs, obviously with Ohtani. Ohtani will get his own piece coming on here later in the episode, but dude is just absolutely raking right now, and the pitching's proven to be pretty well. I think they lost their game they lost today to the White Sox today, but still, nevertheless, you're good. It's good to see the Angels finally being above 500 because I think all of baseball is rooting for this team to at least make the playoffs, so that Mike Trout and Ohtani
finally make the playoffs.
Yes, it's just
imagine the NFL where Patrick Mahomes never makes the playoffs. That's basically what we're looking at here for the last half decade, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Let's get this team in the playoffs for the love of God.
Unreal. We talked about the Central, the AL East. They've just been kind of coasting. Each team has been like 5-5, 6-4, 4-6 in the last 10 games. Mm-hmm. The Yankees are finally starting to look a little bit better. They're finally starting to learn how to play baseball without Aaron Judge. They obviously want him back, but it's just it's ridiculous.
What I don't understand with the whole Judge thing is like there's correlation with Judge getting hurt, the rest of the players start to suck, right? Mm-hmm. But there's no causation. There's no reason you should just be everybody individually, statistically across the board is just so much worse. It doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I just don't understand it whatsoever.
The Orioles are playing good baseball. Hopefully we'll have Max come give us a little update from an in-person game when he goes to the Camden Yards.
For sure.
But a biggest thing I'm shocked about is the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are not doing well. And I don't really know what it is.
Did you see the Alek Manoah game?
Oh, my God.
For anybody who hasn't heard, but you probably have by now, Alek Manoah was playing in a Florida league where the average age of the batters he was facing was 18 and a half.
It's rookie ball.
It's essentially rookie. It's called the Florida Complex League. And within 2 1/3 innings of work, gave up 11 earned runs. I've never heard of anything like this. How do you go from such an elite level, third in Cy Young, to this steep of a fall off in the matter of 9 months?
I think the pitch clock's got to play a big factor into it. It's unreal to see. It's really unreal to see. Sad for him that he's got to move all the way down those rankings too into the organization, but the Toronto Blue Jays got to pick it up. They were a lot of people's top 5 picks to come out of the AL this year. They might not even make the playoffs as of right now, so we'll see how that goes. But okay, so now we've had a good multitude of baseball, about a half of a season now too. So now let's look at our projections for if the season did end today. Who would be our picks to win all of these awards? So starting off first, Max, I'm going to ask you, probably have the same, AL MVP. 3, 2, 1. Oh, Shohei Ohtani. Yeah.
We put out a tweet a couple days ago. It was basically Shohei Ohtani is leading the AL in RBIs, home runs, OPS, total bases. Basically, you name it.
Yeah.
And then he's top 15, if not top 5, I think, in all but one of these statistical categories, pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, starter whip, pitching WAR, Ks per 9. He's elite. So that kind of just leads us to the question, our NL MVP, Ronald Acuna,
yep,
is probably the second best player in baseball because right now nobody's touching Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. And the thing about Ohtani, which is crazy too, is he's gotten shaky with some of his last couple of pitching starts. His ERA is back up to like 3.5, I believe.
But it's still elite.
But if you are winning baseball games and you're above 500 as the Angels, you take that trade-off all the time you can. If it takes Ohtani to pitch a little bit worse and him to hit a little bit better, you're taking that 10 times out of 10. So I think obviously Shohei Ohtani is just the absolute obvious pick for AL MVP, and then Acuna is just absolutely unreal. Just the spearhead of what already is the juggernaut and the Death Star of the Atlanta Braves. I mean, I would say that there could be some debate, but I don't think there's really anyone that's coming close to how good Acuna has been. Obviously subject to change second half of this year, but as of right now, Shohei and Acuna are MVPs. So now moving into our Cy Youngs. For AL, I have McClanahan, obviously. Not getting that much coverage. I know naturally that's just because it's the Tampa Bay Rays, but he is just absolutely dominating in all of his starts. I think he's also just one of those guys, too, where he's going to go out there and the other team's scoring at minimum 2-3 runs.
For your AL Cy Young?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got McClanahan.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. He's 11-1 with a 2.2 ERA, 1.1 WHIP. He's 26. He's young. I really don't know what else there is to say about McClanahan. So, guessing now who would be your NL Cy Young?
I know he hasn't been as great as of late. His last few outings have been awesome. I was deciding between him and Zach Gallen, but ultimately it's Spencer Strider still for me.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's more than fair. Me personally, I have Gallen. He got really bad touched up in his last game at home against the Rays. I put myself through watching that 9:40 start, and Gallen just didn't look like himself. That was really the only game, even at home too, because I know at home he's got like a 1.1 ERA. But I think Gallen is just absolutely dominant to this insanely good Diamondbacks team this year. So my pick's Gallen.
Cool. And then looking at AL Rookie of the Year, I got Texas Rangers third baseman Josh Jung.
Yeah. All-star starter.
Yeah. I mean, he's been awesome for them this year. Obviously, we'll maybe talk about the all-star starters on another episode coming up here. But, I mean, he's arguably been their second best positional player throughout the entire season so far.
For sure.
Simeon, then probably him.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that one. And
Jonah Heim's obviously been great too, but, I mean, you got to give flowers where you can.
And just how good he is as being a solid hitter in their order for them too. When coming in, there was still a lot of question marks. I know they got DeGrom as well, too.
Yoshida deserves some props, too.
Yoshida is my number 2. Love Yoshida. People question if he's a rookie because he's, about to hit 30. But
he's a Brandon Whedon type rookie, for sure.
Yeah. But I think Josh Young, he deserves his flowers, no doubt about that one. And then NL Rookie of the Year is no doubt about that one.
Absolutely. He'd probably be my second in NL MVP voting as of right now.
Hey, he's ridiculous. I knew his speed was great. You see all these prospects come in and whose speed is amazing, this and that. Didn't really hear much about his hitting. Great hitter and a really good fielder as well. I think the Diamondbacks have one of the fastest outfields in baseball too as well. A bunch of little short guys that can just run around and sprint around and chase down baseballs. But they needed a chase field too. But okay, so then now going into our managers of the year. For me personally, in the AL, I have Bruce Bochy, who is
I had the same answer.
Who is the Texas Rangers manager, going from 68 and 94 to now 49 and 32. They weren't even close to looking at the playoffs last year, and now they're going to be probably a playoff team.
Yeah, there's an argument for the Rays management, obviously, but I think it's just the improvement from one year to another is what separates it for me.
Yeah. And I mean, Kevin Cash definitely deserves a good look as well, too. The Rays have been unreal, and with how much money they spend and the cards he's been dealt, he's played it very, very well as a manager. So I have to give my props to Kevin Cash as well. So now going into our NL, I'm going with the Diamondbacks manager. It is Torey Lovullo, who is the Arizona Diamondbacks manager.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I think we've only had one different answer this whole time.
It's pretty cut, dry, simple. With that, the Diamondbacks are just for how they've historically been in the last couple of years to now this year. It just all the right pieces came in at the right time. Lourdes Gurriel now. They have a really good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Absolutely.
It's a great team, and I think he mixes up the back of that order pretty well as well.
For
too,
sure.
So.
And then rounded out here, we've got our league winners.
Yes.
With the NL, I think you might agree with me here. I feel like it's got to be the Braves.
100%. 100% agree.
I mean, from top to bottom, I feel like they're the best team in baseball altogether.
There's really no real debate conversation with that, because no matter what night you're going to get the offense, and the pitching matchup's going to be not necessarily in your favor. So, for NL, AL, I have the Texas Rangers.
Interesting.
I think that they're going to pick it up. I know they've been playing extremely well. They kind of slowed down a little bit from the insane momentum train that they were on. I think that they're just going to keep on playing consistent baseball. I mean, just like the Rays. I think it's either Rays or the Rangers right here.
Listen, this I wouldn't call this controversial just because they've been so good for so long. But maybe you'd call it a safe pick even. I'm going with the Houston Astros.
Okay.
Framber Valdez, there's an argument that he could be a Cy Young candidate at this point.
That's fair.
I mean, outside McClanahan, he might get my vote, to be totally honest.
Mm-hmm.
They found life at the beginning of their order again.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Bregman's actually not been playing as bad as he has the last couple of years.
Yes.
Obviously, you want to get Yordan back healthy.
Yes.
But I trust... Of any team within the AL, I trust their experience and their playoff leadership more than anybody else right now. I don't even know if they'll win the division. If they're a wild card team, they're still my World Series pick.
Yeah, that's more than fair. You can never, ever count out the Astros. Abreu is finally playing like Abreu. He's got an RBI in each of the last, I think it was 16 of the last 17 games. His RBI numbers are starting to go up, just like the MVP version that we saw. Definitely more than fair. Getting Yordan back is ridiculous. And I think hitting Altuve leadoff now again instead of Mauricio Dubon. I know Dubon played well too, but just getting Altuve back into his spot, the whole lineup just follows back over him. So there's no debate there with that pick as well. So, okay, so moving us down into our very last topic, I have a quiz for Max. This could be a little bit of a harder quiz for some of the questions, but some of the other questions I expect you to get. So this is going to be the stat leader in the MLB for each stat.
Oh, wow.
For hitting stats.
I don't know if
pitching.
MLB is probably my least knowledgeable of the three sports.
But if I were to give you a hint before we start this, don't overthink it.
Okay.
So
Don't give me a hint unless I ask for it.
yeah, I won't. Okay, we'll start you off with an easy one. Batting average.
Luis Arias.
Yes.
This is whole MLB?
Yes, this is all of the MLB.
Okay.
Okay. Who has the highest OPS in baseball?
Shohei.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know that too. Who has the highest slugging in baseball?
Who just hits the piss out of balls? Oh, man. Why do I feel like it might also be Shohei?
Final answer?
Shohei Ohtani.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 for 3 going on. On base percentage.
Oh, I think I know this, actually. Wait, maybe it would also just be Luis Arias.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't overthink
Yeah.
it. It's Luis Arias.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. That's good. That is now 4 for 4 to start us off. You know this one too. Stolen bases.
Oh, I don't know if I do know. Oh, Ruiz. Yeah,
There you go.
I do
there
know
you
that
go.
one.
Okay, we stay flawless. This one I don't expect you to get, but it'd be crazy if you did. Who has the most strikeouts in the MLB? And I will tell you this: it is a well-known player, and he is in the AL, and he's an outfielder.
I think it could be Stanton, but I don't want to say it's Stanton. I don't love that answer just yet.
Okay.
Oh, boy. It wouldn't be Judge because he's hurt.
I'll tell you right now, not that division.
Okay. Well-known outfielder. So I don't think it's gonna be anybody on the Guards or the Twins. I really just don't even think it's anybody in the Central necessarily.
That's correct.
So we're looking towards the
West.
AL West here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way it's Trout.
No, it's not Trout.
Julio Rodriguez.
Right team, wrong player.
Teoscar?
Yes.
Yeah, Teoscar.
Teoscar Hernandez.
Actually, I should have gotten that because they have a huge strikeout problem.
Yes, him especially.
So he's definitely inflating the numbers.
He's
man.
winning
Yeah.
by like 20 to 30 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, I don't know if I'd expect you to get it, but you definitely could get it. Walks.
Is it like a star player?
He is the walks king, and he's a star player. He's the king of walks, and I've mentioned that on this podcast before.
The king of walks, man. Oh, boy. I feel like it's an NL player.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like we're looking at the Central here. I feel like we're going to be leaning towards the East. Definitely not anybody on the Mets or the Nats. I don't feel like it'd be the Marlins either.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be Atlanta or Philly.
Would you like me to help you out?
Is it Schwarber?
No.
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 Does Schwarber strike out a lot?
Schwarber's second in strikeouts.
Oh, okay.
He was behind
So
Teo.
it tells you everything you need to know about my baseball.
He was
knowledge.
second behind Teoscar.
Oh boy.
I can give you a division if you would like.
Sure.
It's the NL West.
NL West. Wow.
The walks king. Maybe that'll jog your memory a bit.
Oh, Freddie Freeman?
No,
No.
not Freddie Freeman.
Oh, Soto.
Yes.
Yes. I
Yes.
should have gotten that. See,
He's-
these last couple I could have just used like deductive reasoning.
He is winning by like 20 to 30 walks. He
Wow.
is a walks king.
Yeah.
Okay. RBI's leader.
It's Shohei.
Mm-mm.
Last I checked, it was Shohei.
It's changed now as of this morning.
It's changed as of this morning.
Yes.
Ooh, boy. There weren't many games this morning.
Or I will say, waking up this morning, like as of last night's games.
Is it Simeon?
Right team, wrong player.
Right team, wrong player. Wow. It's not. There's no way it's Josh Jong.
Nope.
I don't think it's Jonah Heim either.
Mm-mm.
Garcia?
Yep.
Adolis.
Adolis Garcia.
Okay, look at that.
Coming in at what was 65 RBIs,
Jeez, man.
which is a lot of
He's
RBIs.
killing it.
Leader in home runs,
Shohei.
Ohtani. Okay, doing really good so far. So we have 4 left. This one, okay, it is a 5-way tie,
Oh,
and
wow.
I will give you a point if you can name 2 of them because you should know one of them.
Okay.
Triples.
Jose.
No.
Oh no, not Jose. There's somebody on the Guards though. It's who is it? Who is it? Quan?
Mm-mm.
Brennan?
No.
Rosario?
Sir Ahmed Rosario.
That's right.
Okay, so then there's 4 other guys.
Corbin Carroll, I think, might be on there.
He is not on there.
Oh boy, Ellie De La Cruz won't be on there.
No.
Although he's had quite a few since he came up. We're looking for speed and can run. Lindor?
Not Lindor.
Really? I thought that might have been a good pool. Oh boy, you want to give me just teams for the other guys?
Okay, I'll give you one. One of them just played on this TV screen, and he just had a double in the last inning.
Oh, I wasn't that locked in. I'm guessing he plays for the Phillies then.
Correct.
Bryn Marsh?
No. Speed on the Phillies.
Man, my baseball casual status is.
That's
really
okay, but that's
coming
what
into play
we have this test for. That's what makes it entertaining.
Who's fast on? I feel like everybody's slow on the Phillies.
He's considered to be the fastest at his position as well.
Why am I blanking so hard?
Not a crazy player either. Star. Just don't overthink it.
Oh, Ramuto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes, Ramuto is also one
Well,
of
when
them.
you say fastest at the position, I was like, oh, this guy's fast. But like for a
Yes.
catcher, he's fast.
Then there's 3 other guys. 2 of them are names I don't expect you to get.
Really?
So I would just give you those. Pittsburgh Pirates.
Keegan Hayes?
Yes.
Yeah, there we
yes. Okay. And then Toronto Blue Jays.
Biggio?
No. He's in the outfield.
It's an outfielder. So who's their outfield?
Speed Demon. Came from Tampa
Kevin
Bay.
Kiermaier.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that is 4
He's
players.
probably the best defensive outfielder in the MLB.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. He's had a lot of signature home run robs too. So that's 4 out of the 5. Number 5, obviously, another guy.
Acuna.
Ohtani.
There you go.
Ohtani is also
There you
tied.
go.
Okay. Now, this is only one player. The leader in doubles.
Is it Jose?
No.
Is it Ohtani?
Nope.
Reyes?
Nope.
Lindor?
Nope.
Am I on the right track?
Yes. In that realm of superstars.
Oh, boy. Mookie?
Nope. Right team, wrong player.
Freddie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. Okay. Hits.
Oh. Reyes?
Yes.
It has to be. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Finally, runs.
Runs scored.
Runs scored.
Who bats leadoff for the Rangers?
So Simeon bats lead off, but it's not him.
Really? Is it somebody on the Rangers?
No.
See, that's
It's-
surprising
it's-
because they
it's-
scored so many
it's-
runs. Corbin Carroll?
No.
Acuna?
He bats Acuna.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay, so kind of an interesting little draft, but I mean,
Started off strong, didn't finish great.
but some of those I never would have expected you to get some
For
of
sure,
them. But
for
okay, so thank you all for listening to episode 7 of the setup. We're just gonna keep going along here with these episodes. Love filming them, so thank you again for listening, and we're powering down here in the setup.